Yo intento disfrutar, yo creo que ese es el secreto, disfrutar, no pensar en nada, dar el fútbol que tengo, intentar que la gente disfrute viendo un partido de fútbol. Entonces, de momento me está saliendo bien, aún no he hecho nada, tengo mucho por hacer, mucho por crear y espero que en la vuelta siga así.
You ever get that feeling that football is about to explode with something huge? Well, this might just be one of those moments. Because right now there's a rumor going around that's got everyone talking. A story that could change the future of Barcelona, and maybe even European football itself. Lamine Yamal, the kid everyone's calling the future of Barca, might actually be on the radar of some of the biggest clubs in the world. Yeah, I know, sounds crazy, right? But stick around, because what's happening behind the scenes might surprise you. And if you love keeping up with football stories like this one, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We break down the biggest transfer news, the real rumors, and the stories no one else dares to explain. Now, let's get into it. The whole Lamine Yamal transfer saga started almost out of nowhere. A few whispers on social media. A rumor here, a leak there. Nothing concrete, just noise at first. But in football, small whispers can become earthquakes overnight. And that's exactly what happened here. Suddenly, journalists started mentioning it. Fans began asking questions. And the rumor that started as a random tweet turned into the headline story of the week. Could Lamine Yamal actually leave Barcelona? For many people, that sounds impossible. This kid isn't just another player, he's the next big thing. The youngest debutant in Barcelona's history. The face of La Masia's rebirth. The player fans believe will carry Barca into a new golden era. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Football isn't just about loyalty or dreams anymore. It's about numbers, contracts, and survival. And for Barcelona, survival has been the key word for years. The club's financial problems are no secret. Everyone knows about the salary caps, the registration issues, the debts, and the endless talk of levers. So when rumors started spreading that major clubs, especially from the Premier League, were ready to pay insane amounts for Yamal, people started asking the one question Barca fans never wanted to hear. Would they actually consider selling him? It all started when Spanish papers hinted that English giants were circling. Some said Manchester City. Others said Chelsea. A few even mentioned that Liverpool had sent scouts to monitor him. The numbers being thrown around were wild. Offers potentially reaching 200 million euros. Think about that for a second. 200 million? That's close to what PSG paid for Neymar. That's generational money, the kind of deal that can change a club's financial future overnight. At first, Barcelona's response was firm. He's not for sale. Simple, direct, confident. But as the rumor kept growing, some insiders began to suggest there might be more going on behind closed doors. Because let's be real, even the strongest statements in football can start to crumble when there's that much money involved. Some people inside the club were reportedly divided. On one side, you had the traditionalists, those who believe Lamine is untouchable, the heart of Barca's future. On the other, the pragmatists, the ones saying, if a record-breaking offer comes, maybe we have to at least listen. And that's where things started to get messy. Because football fans don't just see players as assets, they see them as hope. Selling Yamal wouldn't just be business, it would be emotional betrayal. This is a kid who came from La Masia, who plays with joy, who represents everything Barcelona used to stand for. So the idea of selling him felt wrong. But at the same time, financial reality doesn't care about feelings. Then, like in every big football story, came the plot twist. The rumor took on a new life when French and English media claimed that Paris Saint-Germain had entered the race. After losing Kylian Mbappé, PSG were desperate for a new global star. Someone who could become the next face of their project. And who fits that description better than a 17-year-old phenom, lighting up La Liga and the Champions League. PSG were reportedly ready to go all in. Numbers like 250 million euros were thrown around. And honestly, that's when the football world lost its mind. Because if PSG were really willing to offer that much, it wasn't just a rumor anymore. It was a potential super transfer. But through all the chaos, Yamal's attitude stood out. He didn't post anything. He didn't react online. He didn't fuel the speculation. Instead, he just played. Week after week, he went out on the pitch and delivered goals, assists, confidence, composure. The kind of maturity that makes you forget he's still a teenager. While everyone else was talking about him, he was out there writing his own story. With his feet, still, the tension was building behind the scenes. Barcelona's leadership held internal meetings. They knew they couldn't ignore the rumors forever. Some thought they should make a public statement again. Others believed staying silent was better, that acknowledging it would only make things worse. Meanwhile, agents, intermediaries, and sources close to the player kept feeding the story. Some said Yamal's camp was 100% committed to Barcelona. Others suggested they were at least listening to what other clubs had to say. And you know how football works, truth and speculation mix until no one can tell the difference anymore. Then came another twist, and this one made the whole saga explode again. Saudi Arabia reportedly entered the conversation. The Saudi Pro League, which had already shocked the world by signing players like Neymar, Benzema and Ronaldo, was apparently curious about the teenage star. Of course, this was never realistic. Yamal's still a kid, with his entire European career ahead of him. But just the fact that they even asked showed how massive his name had become. Everyone everywhere wanted a piece of him. And that's when the story became bigger than football. It became about what Yamal represents. For some, he's more than a player. He's the light at the end of Barcelona's tunnel. Proof that despite everything, the financial crises, the departures, the messy years, La Masia can still produce brilliance. So when the rumors kept coming, fans reacted emotionally. They brought banners to Camp Nou saying, "Lamine es el futuro." They chanted his name louder than anyone else's. Every time he touched the ball, it felt like a statement. This kid is ours. And then one moment changed everything. Barcelona were playing at home. Yamal scored a stunning solo goal, the kind that only he could pull off. And after finding the net, he ran straight to the corner flag, kissed the badge, and looked up at the crowd. That single gesture went viral. Millions of views in hours. To fans, that wasn't just a celebration. It was a message. A quiet promise. I'm not going anywhere. And for a moment, the storm settled. But like always in football, peace never lasts long. Just when everyone thought the saga was over, new reports emerged that Barcelona were working to renew Yamal's contract. Again, the idea was to raise his release clause even higher, possibly to €1 billion. That wasn't just about keeping him. It was about sending a statement to the world. This kid is untouchable. And that's exactly what Barcelona needed. A symbol of strength, a reminder that not everything has to be for sale. Because here's the truth. In modern football, loyalty is rare. Money talks, agents move, clubs panic. But sometimes, just sometimes, a player and a club are bigger than that. Now, whether this whole saga was real or exaggerated, one thing is clear. Lamine Yamal has arrived. At just 17 years old, he's already one of the most talked about names on the planet. Clubs are fighting for him. Analysts are comparing him to legends. Fans are watching every step he takes. But the story isn't really about the rumor. It's about what it means. It's about how football has changed. How talent can turn into currency overnight. How one player can be both priceless and for sale at the same time. And yet, despite all the noise, despite the headlines and speculation, Yamal just keeps doing what he does best. Playing beautiful football. So maybe he won't leave. Maybe he's exactly where he's meant to be. Maybe he'll write his name into Barcelona history like Messi did. Or maybe, years from now, we'll look back on this moment and realize it was the beginning of something much bigger. The first chapter of another transfer story that defined a generation. But for now, one thing's for sure, Lamine Yamal isn't just a player anymore. He's a symbol, and while the rumors might fade, the spotlight on him definitely won't. The world is watching. The cameras are ready, and the next chapter of this incredible story is only just beginning.